In this lecture, we will review making systematic observations. But first, what is systematic? Well, systematic and systemic both come from the word system. Systematic is the more common word. It most often describes something that is done according to a system or method. Systemic describes what relates to or affects an entire system. Now, observation is an act or instance of noticing or perceiving. An act or instance of regarding attentively or watching, or the faculty or habit of observing or noticing. Now, systematic observation is a method used in psychology to study behavior in a structured and organized manner. This approach involves observing and recording behavior within a predefined framework, ensuring that the observation process is both objective and consistent. Systematic observation is often contrasted with causal or unsystematic observation, where observations may be made randomly or without a specific plan or structure. Systematic observation is an objective, well-ordered method for close examination of some phenomena or aspect of behavior so as to obtain reliable data unbiased by observer interpretation. Systematic observation typically involves specification of the exact actions, attributes, or how they are to be recorded. The intent is to ensure that under the same or similar circumstances, all observers will obtain the same results. Now, I know I've talked a lot about descriptive research method in prior lectures, but we need to know the difference between systematic observation and descriptive research method. So while both systematic observation and descriptive research method involve collecting data to describe a phenomenon, the key difference is that systematic observation is a specific data collection technique within descriptive research, focusing on carefully constructed observation of specific behaviors, while descriptive research encompasses a broader range of methods to describe characteristics of a population or phenomenon, which may include systematic observation as a tool. Now, some key points to remember is that under systematic observation, it uses a predefined set of criteria to record specific behaviors or events. It also aims for high reliability by training observers to consistently apply the coding system. And it is often used in naturalistic settings, but with a focused approach on particular aspects of behavior. Now, with descriptive research, its aim is to provide a comprehensive picture of a population or phenomenon without manipulating variables. It may utilize various data collection methods like surveys, interviews, case studies, and systematic observation. It also focuses on identifying patterns, trends, and characteristics within a group. Now, according to Bordens and Abbott, systematic observation involves making decisions about what, how, and when to make observations. observations of behavior are made under controlled conditions using operational definitions of the variables of interest. Now, whether your research design is experimental or correlational, your study will involve measuring the values of its variables. In psychology, a variable refers to any characteristic or factor that can change or vary across individuals or situations, which researchers can measure and study to understand psychological phenomena such as behavior, thoughts, or emotions. Essentially, it's something that can be altered or manipulated in an experiment to observe its effects on other factors. So, when using a measure, you need to be concerned with its characteristics, including its reliability, its validity, and the level of measurement it represents. A measure is reliable to the extent that repeated measurements of the same quality yield similar values. Observation in psychological research differs from observation in the physical sciences because the psychologist deals with living organisms. Now, the essence of systematic observation lies in its structured approach to gathering data. Researchers define in advance what behaviors or events are of interest, how these behaviors should be recorded, and under what conditions the observations will take place. This preparation helps in minimizing bias and increasing the reliability and validity of the data collected. So, systematic observation can be conducted in naturalistic settings where behavior is observed in its natural environment without any intervention by the observer, or in controlled settings such as a laboratory where conditions are manipulated to observe the effects on behavior. This method is crucial in fields like developmental psychology, social psychology, and educational psychology, where understanding the nuances of behavior in different contexts is essential. Now, let's review some application areas. Systematic observation is utilized across various domains within psychology. So, for developmental psychology, to study the development of children in different environments, including their interactions with peers and adults. Systematic observation can be utilized in social psychology to observe social interactions and group dynamics in various settings. Systematic observation can be utilized in educational psychology to assess teaching methods, classroom dynamics, and student behavior. It can also be utilized in clinical psychology to observe symptoms and behaviors in clients, contributing to diagnosis and treatment planning. Some well-known examples of this is the strange situation. Do you remember learning about that in your Intro to Psych course? So in the strange situation study, a systematic observation method developed by Mary Ainsworth to observe attachment relationships between a caregiver and children. And another well-known example of naturalistic observation study in primatology, researchers like Jane Goodall have used systematic observation to study the behavior of chimpanzees in their natural environments. Now, there are some risks involved. Let's review treatment and risks. Systematic observation is a powerful tool for gathering empirical data on behavior. However, it is essential to ensure that ethical standards are upheld, particularly regarding privacy and consent, especially when observations are conducted in naturalistic settings. Additionally, observers must be trained to minimize bias and ensure that their presence does not influence the behavior being observed. Again, systematic observation is a method used in psychology to study behavior in a structured and organized manner. This approach involves observing and recording behavior within a predefined framework, ensuring that the observation process is both objective and consistent.